Shukran. No. Jazilan. Ala al-dawa li hodur el-motamar. Ana Said لكوني هنا معكم. Gususan Morsi Arab Sadiki. But I understand after several hours that there is only one conference language. So sorry, I must continue with one language. And do you agree I will continue in English? Thanks, Morsi, again, Morsi, because of your presentation. Because Morsi has said already a lot of what I would like to say to you. Especially, forget all the guidelines, forget being in compliance, but be in concordance, be in cooperation. And you are saying with patience. And of course, I would like to say to you, please come in concordance with persons with diabetes. The IDF has ordered already for many years to talk about persons with diabetes. You just have diabetes, simple as that. And well, maybe sometimes a patient, but okay. Then you see, look at this cartoon. This cartoon is made a few weeks ago in Rome, and they like maybe me, but especially my scooter, and so they made this wonderful cartoon. Maybe I will send it to you with Christmas to wish you a merry, merry, happy 2015. But, first of all, I must confess something. I'm on the list mentioned as a professor. I am not a professor. It's a pity, but I'm not a professor. But sometimes, and see the list of speakers, it is much easier to be on the list of speakers being a professor than a simple person with diabetes. Having diabetes, okay, it's not interesting. And Marcy, I must confess to you, and you know me very, very well, that you are talking about in concordance with people with diabetes, in concordance with, in cooperation with people with diabetes. Where are they? Where are they? Paul is the first one. I am the second one. I know a very good other guy who is sitting over there next, and I will say a few words about you. And there are maybe more. But please, in your next conference, please ask the persons with diabetes and to tell their stories, their experiences. So I will do it now a little bit after my confession. I'm just a simple biochemist. My PhD was on steroids and cockroaches. That was many years ago, of course. I love both of them. I love the steroids. I love the cockroaches. I'm eating both of them a lot. Cockroaches also a little bit, but I've eaten a lot of steroids in my life. I have made, in my time when I was a researcher, I have made steroids in the anti-conceptive time. So maybe several women in the world are eating still my anti-conceptive pills. I don't know. But I am now, you must be aware, I am member of the management board of the European Medicine Agency, of the EMA. So I must start. It's obliged, you must do it at the beginning of the presentation, your disclosure of interest. Some of you did it, and my disclosure of conflicts of interest is I am doing it with everybody. So I do hope, because I'm asked to talk about driving and diabetes, so I do hope that I can join some companies from the car industry on my list of conflicts of interest. Now, this was my first slide. The next slide, I must do it by myself. Is it changing? No. Is it moving? No. Do I have... Oh. That is moving? Yes. Oh. Thank you, Paul. I will say. So you know, living with diabetes, living for 65 years with diabetes, and of course living with the rights and duties, what Morsi was saying. I am showing this picture of the tulips. I'm coming from the Netherlands, so I'm showing these tulips. And on the next slide, Paul. No, that's too fast. The previous, yes. This one. Oh, how nice. Do I have 5 minutes? No, okay. I will need a little bit more. But it's hiding the year 1945. 45, the liberation of the Netherlands, Second World War. The left one, it's me. The other is my older brother. And you see, I'm looking very serious. Very serious. Because I didn't understand. This picture is lying tulips because of the liberation, before the palace of the Queen. Everybody was happy. I was not happy because I didn't understand it. I was almost 8 years young, and the months before I was in the famine winter. Maybe I must explain the word famine, that you don't have any food. So I have eaten the months before only fried tulip bulbs. That was my only food. Excellent. They are so nice. But I didn't understand that I have to lay down my food on the street. So you can imagine, I do have not only diabetes, but also asthma from when I was born. So I was always ill, and I almost died when I was 18. I'm from origin, from my parents, Catholic. So I received the last sacraments. Win, say goodbye to your family, to your friends, bye-bye. Okay, you cannot fight against it. But luckily I survived, and I must confess to you, that was of course the change of my life. And from that moment on, I studied biochemistry, now I told you, and so on and so on. A beautiful professional career. And now to my concrete presentation. Next slide, please, Paul. The essence is indeed, are you hiding your diabetes, or are you coming out with your diabetes? And you must respect the privacy of persons who are saying, I will hide it, I will not come out. That's my legal privacy. You can do that and say, nobody else. But if you are hiding it, you have no rights of any communication. You are closing your communication, and then it's over. So I'm the defender of not hiding, coming out, and then the discussions with the healthcare professionals with everybody. The next slide, and Adele is not here, but Adele knows a little bit about my passion for driving. I have a terrible compassion of driving from when I was young. And you see, I was starting with the Citroën, the Chevaux, of course, everybody is starting with it. And the car that arrived, that's my dream, an Aston Martin. So please, companies, join me in my conflict of interest. Give me just a simple Aston Martin, and then I'm happy. The next slide, and that's the talk. Everybody who is driving a car must have rights to drive and also must have duties. Now you see, marvelous driving. I arrived yesterday morning in the middle of the night at the airport, and I was so happy to drive to the hotel because everybody was driving without lights, on the wrong side of the road, only using a klaxon. That was a way of driving in Luxor. But I don't know where is the mayor or, but I like them, I will, it's beautiful, beautiful. Your own responsibility. Yeah, if you are crushing someone, okay, you will talk and you will be in court, but you accept it, apparently. So, there's also these guys over here. And in the next slide, Paul, you say, when I had, I'm so passionate about driving, now, Hanan, you will be very happy that I talk. I will steal a little bit of your minutes. Thank you. But she knows everything about my feet. You can see my feet. I don't feel anything below my knees. I have 100% neuropathy. Marvelous, marvelous. I don't feel any pain. It's an advantage. Each disadvantage has an advantage. And you see my beautiful shoes. They are just like plaster cast. It's wonderful. I can do. I sleep sometimes with it because I like it. And so when it was over with walking, it was over with walking with crutches, of course. Then I started with my scooter, and now yeah, marvelous scooter. You see it over there. I must say that when yesterday afternoon I tried to drive with my scooter, of course in Luxor. Why not? So when I came out of the hotel, a lot of horses, beautiful nice guys came to me offering me, no sir, come in our coach with the horse. I said, thank you very much. And after the 10th person, I must say, this is my horse. So, and then I drove many kilometers with my horse. It was wonderful. And I must hurry, they are nervous. So wow, you are more than, oh my time is up, yeah. Okay, but can I have just my next slide? No. Very quickly I will do. Paul, can you go back to the scooter? No, and then the next one. What are you doing now? No? Forward? Oh, oh, sorry, I'm on the... No. Yeah, sorry, I'm on the wrong page. Okay, you are okay. Sorry. Difference between countries. Now, I will tell you the differences in countries about the driver's license. It is a total mess. Incomprehensible. There are countries which have a driving license for people with diabetes for 3 years, for 10 years, for long life. Sometimes the medical doctor is allowed to give the judgment. Sometimes it's forbidden that it is be judged by your own doctor, because you as the own doctor, no, you are not allowed because of your, of course there's always a reason, but it's difficult to do it because then you have the personal relationship to the medical doctor and he has his security. Now, so it's really, the judgments are terrible and it's decided by politicians. No politicians anymore in the room, so don't trust them. So my conclusion is an incomprehensible what a word, mass. Now the next slide, that Europe built on equity, solidarity, rights and duties. The next slide, and then I can hurry up. That's when it started, all the troubles with my diabetic foot, broken bones and so on. Now, okay, you see the next slide, that is marvelous for you. One of the plaster casts, and when I got my first plaster cast, and of course it must be removed each 2 weeks or something like that, whether it's in progress, but I had more than a year a total plaster cast on my, and then there were signatures on it. Signature from George Alberti, from Pierre Lefebvre, Martin Selling, of Jean-Claude Melania, and all they say best wishes, all the best, lucky guy. And there was one signature of one of my friends, of Morsi. Look, Morsi knows me very much. He didn't say best wishes. He just said, behave. Wow, wow. Morsi. And I didn't do, of course. The next slide, because my doctor was saying, I must confess it to you, my doctor was saying, with my Charcot foot, you must be rest, Wim. I said, yes, but immediately I left his office room because he was not saying where to rest. So I traveled again, and only a few weeks after my plaster cast, I went to India, to Jaipur. I was invited to speak over there. Wonderful, wonderful audience of thousand people. I must say, incredible. My presentation would be living with complications, you can imagine. But after that meeting, 4 women from Iran were waiting because there was also no ramp, but then 6 strong guys put me with my wheelchair, on the stage. So I could wait. Yeah, they were so nice to do it again after the audience. But these 4 women, 3 medical doctors, 1 nurse in Iran, they were waiting and only said to me, thank you so much for your openness, telling about it. I do hope we will continue to try to do it in our countries. And you see that I love them. Really. And now I will do very, very quickly the next slide. That's my scooter. Yes, the next slide, I must say to you, coming in, this is in Copenhagen, it's very good to do. Next slide, you will see coming out is much more difficult because you see the word hell. So, but I have a brake and so the driver was good. Next slide, I like competitions and I have a driving competition with another guy living with diabetes, and it was marvelous, and so marvelous that I thought with my scooter I will win. But that other guy, he half a year later he had the amputation of his leg, but he was only doing this with his hands. So I said, I will win easily. No, he was much more clever than I am, because he had already in that wheel a motor. So he was doing a little bit of that. You have ever seen now. Okay, next. That's almost the last one I do for you. Now, I was also with, you see me to the right, with my scooter in China. Wonderful. When I arrived in the airport, they should have red danger, of course, difficult. And I only said, made in China, coming home. And I could leave them. But it's so wonderful. It's on the big wall, World Diabetes Day, and they were looking to that strange scooter. And the camera came to me. May we have an interview with you? Why not? So the next slide, you see it was CCTV, that is the CNN of China. And may I ask you about rights? You can imagine if you're coming in China talking about rights, of course. So I gave I'm always prepared, talk about the rights, rights and duties. And it was marvelous. And it was the same evening, 2 minutes on CCTV. I will have very quickly the next slide. That's
sorry, Professor.
But sorry, there is no discussion.
Have too much.
Yeah, but I'm very quickly. Please let a person with diabetes say a few words to all these medical doctors. I beg you.
Go ahead.
Each slide has a duty. This is a member of the board of IDF Europe. She was in Holland, in the Netherlands, and she asked me, we are ready with our meeting at 2 o'clock, and our plane is leaving 6 o'clock. Would you like to show us a little bit first meeting in Amsterdam? So each disadvantage has an advantage. So I do have a disabled parking card. So I drove with them in the middle of Amsterdam before the Royal Palace, and they are walking, or she was walking, and I was waiting with them, all including the red light districts and so on. And then the next one would be to show you, because it's not only driving with the next one, I would say this is Douglas Cairns, because of flying with diabetes. And there are several people who are fighting for flying with diabetes. And the friend of Paul is doing such things also. But it is incredible that in Canada, for instance, you can fly with diabetes. Other countries not allowed.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I will stop now. Yeah.
Actually, it is very difficult to interrupt such an affectionate story, and it is very inspiring for everybody who is seeing the life in a different way. Apart from the confession we made about being a professor, all other facts are true. Your contribution to the Diabetes Association in Germany, in Europe, and in the IDF is very clear. Thank you for being with us, and we'll move to the next speaker.
And may I make you give compliments that you are so terribly good on schedule. I have given a presentation in South America, and I was scheduled on 2 o'clock, and my presentation was on 8 o'clock in the evening. So you are perfect in time.
Great. So Egypt is doing better than the States.